Yo, what's up, y'all? You couldn't see me because I'm wearing all green and I blend in with Steel Mace Flow Education 46. Did I get that right? Are we on 46? We are. What's the name of today's episode? Well, let me pause the music. To rotate or not to rotate? That is the question. Jordan, what the deal is? Good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, that is not the chat. That answers my question. You're not the chat, man. You're a different chat. Okay, get the chat off. Guys, what's up? Welcome to another awesome edition of Still Makes Flow Education. Listen, we're going to learn some fancy-ass move today. Okay? Super fancy. You guys, you're going to learn some fancy stuff as well as you're going to learn some philosophy. And to tell you the truth, I have about 500 things I want to teach you this morning. 500 things I want to teach you this morning. But I can't teach you all the things. Instead, I can just teach you some of the things, okay? But I want you to stick around because today's episode is going to be awesome. We're going to do something crazy with the mace. You may have never done this before. Yeah, you. Exactly. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have a sponsor for today, but I am wearing one of a kind epic San Francisco. I was there in San Francisco for the grand opening of Epic Studios. Let me lock this, bolt it. Nobody's getting in. Today is going to be too wild for anybody to interrupt us. And let me get some swings in. Oh, awesome news. The official training mace of the Savage is coming out. We will get you guys some more details for that as we go. You're probably thinking, Leo, why is your hair slicked back? Is it because of how tight of a 360 you have when you swing that your arms slick back your hair? Probably not. But how funny would that be? Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a great day, and I know I am. Hopefully you got your mace and you're swinging with me. But before you swing with me, before you pick up your mace, before you do any of that, very important that you support the channel by clicking the like button, clicking the subscribe button, and why not click the bell? Click it. Why not? Click bell. Let's go. And there's a how should we get started today? To rotate or not to rotate? That is the question. And today's going to be an awesome episode. We are going to do some pretty fun stuff, and hopefully that fun stuff will have you lost in Steel Mace Flow Imagination Land, where you will be constantly creating after today's lesson. Maybe not creating, maybe refining is the way. Maybe you'll just be refining. All right, so in the Steel Mace Flow curriculum, if you've ever taken of it, or you're just a fan of Steel Mace Flow, you might have heard these words before. Anti-rotation, counter-rotation, purposeful rotation. And those are the three amigos of Steel Mace Flow. And really what it talks about is controlling your relationship with rotation. To which I ask you, is it better to rotate or not to rotate? I would say that some of the dividing differences in the Steel Mace community sits and lies in that question. Should I rotate? Should I not rotate? One coach says to rotate. One coach says not to rotate. Well, I think what you need to do is you need to do both. You need to rotate or you need to not rotate. And I believe that in order to make true artistry, you need to be able to create straight lines and you need to be able to bend them. Yes, bend the lines. And we're going to talk about what you should rotate and what you should not rotate today. As well as we're going to teach you a horizontal funneled 360. A horizontal 360. Segmented movement. Funneling rotation. Man, I'm pumped up today, man. Maybe we should be playing the song. Uh, but you know what? I'm not going to do anything until we get 4 likes up in here. You're going to need 4 likes. I'm just going to stand here. You just got to hit that like button. Okay, we got 1 like. We need 3 more. Do the math. Okay. Oh, did I mention the 4th cabrone of rotation? I mean, if you ever watch the Three Amigos movie, there's 3 amigos, and they need another amigo to get the job done. And our 4th, ladies and gentlemen, our 4th rotation that we're going to talk about today is funneling rotation. So we're going to cover 4 things, 5 things, 6 things. Who knows? Maybe. Well, we got 2 likes. Okay, we need 2 more to start the program. Okay, 2. And trust me, I'm good at talking. I'll just stand here all day and talk about the 3 Amigos. Okay, we need another sequel to 3 Amigos. By now, there should be at least 12 Amigos by now if you do the math. If you're looking for the like button, it's just underneath the video, right? You know what? I'm not going to pester you anymore with likes. Okay, let's get into the work today. The first thing we're going to talk about is counter rotation. Counter rotation is best described as locking your body into place so the mace or whatever you're using will not create any unwanted rotation. Counter rotation has to do with the body. And I'll give you a demo of that. I don't need my mace. Let me guess. When you're hanging out at the grocery store, you stand like this. Countering rotation can be as simple as not allowing any curvature in the spine. So by taking your hips and tucking them to a precise angle, having a flex in your midsection, and stretching that flex out, now I'm standing vertical. I've created a straight line. I am resisting any rotation that is happening in my body. Counter rotation. The next one we're going to get into is anti-rotation. Anti-rotation has to deal with the mace and how the mace affects your body. If you stand with the mace at full arm's length, it does want to tilt in just a bit. As you can see, the head of my mace, when in a relaxed position, teeters to the center. Now, I am using counter rotation, so I am up and vertical, but if I wasn't countering rotation, I might look something like this, which I know is very cool, especially for like high school class photos. This is a really good look. However, if I use the counter rotation in my body, an anti-rotation is applying tension to the mace in order to create symmetry or to resist any unwanted rotation. So they've got 2 rotations we're talking about now. Counter rotation deals with me and how I conduct myself. Anti-rotation is the mace and applying pressure to the mace. Now there's a couple different ways you can apply pressure to the mace. You can try to tear the mace apart, which if you do, usually ends up in a symmetrical position. You can crush the mace, driving your hands inward towards the mace, which also does the same thing. It creates symmetry, it creates straight lines through the mace. So the 2 together, anti-rotation and counter-rotation, typically work together in creating rotation, or forces against rotation. Okay? Boom. And that's where we get our strength from in dealing with the mace. Is not necessarily moving with the mace, which can create speed, which can create proprioception, which can create art and beauty, but actually fighting the way that the mace wants to rotate. And third, the 3 amigo is purposeful rotation. Purposeful rotation is exactly as I say. It is using rotation purposefully. We'll give you an example. This is being rotated on purpose. Now, there's a couple things there. When I say on purpose, I am doing things with my body, counter-rotating, to stop any unwanted rotation so that the rotation I am doing is very purposeful. If I'm not being purposeful in my rotation, the mace will push me around. You see how my elbow came out like that? That's not on purpose. I'm just not stopping the rotation. So if I create anti-rotation with the mace stops moving. So I can't very well use anti-rotation in this particular variable of training, but I can use counter-rotation, which is the body. A lot of the time, the counter-rotation is done in the body, so there's no collision. If I let my chin stick forward, you might have a collision, and I think you guys get that. And then this is where this episode's really going to take off, so thank you guys for sticking with me this long. The fourth rotation that we're going to talk about and illustrate is funneling rotation. And that's when all four of these dynamic forces join forces, like the Power Rangers. Okay? You get all four, you put them together, it works out really well. Now, you know what? I'm going to use my sharp blue mace to illustrate this. Dynamic combination of forces. Anti-rotation, counter-rotation, purposeful rotation, funneling rotation. And this is, one, this looks super cool. Two, it's hard to get wrong, okay? So it's hard to not look cool doing this move, all right? But it does take up quite a bit of room, so please lock your door. Make sure there's no small women, dogs, kites, hamsters, or any pets of any kind in your room. And if you have a coffee table, you might want to slide it over to the side. And let's get into today's big lesson on funneling rotation. Now, in Still Mace Flow vocabulary, this is landmark 1. Landmark 1 is basically when your arms are at full length and you have created symmetry with your mace, whether it's a narrow grip or a wide grip. Wide grip, of course, there being more difficulty. Or an extended grip, a lever of disadvantage. I can really feel the rotation wanting to happen in this landmark 1. But landmark 1 can be done with one hand. It can be done with two hands of opposing grips. It can be done with two hands of opposing grips on the side in any fashion or orientation of grips. These are all illustrations of landmark 1. Very cool. Did you know landmark 1 exists with both hands on both sides of the body? Yes, you already knew that. I know, you're so smart. And a philosophy that we have in Steel Mace Flow is whenever you learn a landmark or a move, you should see what side of your body you can do that move on. For instance, a 360 can be done in the front. Okay, very cool. Let me follow Leo's advice and see if I can do a 360 anywhere else. If I counter-rotate my body into space, and I rotate purposefully my shoulders, I can lock myself into place and choose to do a 360 on the side. Hell, I can even alternate from side to side. And you can see that I am using counter-rotation in my body. I'm using anti-rotation in the mace. I'm slowing down my 360 in a way that my torso or my core can rotate purposefully with the sequence of my 360. Boom. Boom. All right, so you got your 360. You do it on both sides of your body. Another philosophy that we have is, can you do it behind your back? Now, a 360 behind your back can be done, but that is not the point of the lesson. We're going to start at the rudimentary level. Landmark 1. Can you tell me or show me what landmark 1 looks like behind your back? Okay, you want me to go first? I will. I'm going to take my mace, I'm going to hold all the way by the globe, and I'm going to rotate the mace behind me. And as you can see, we're mirroring landmark 1. This time we're just doing it in the back. Yes. Just like that. You're looking good, Ja. From here, what would happen if we let go of the tail into the mace. Well, I could probably keep the mace propped up, but if I let go of the other side, rotation, unwanted rotation starts to happen. The mace head wants to drop. There's some bend in my wrist that I didn't purposefully choose to do. And so, in order to keep the mace straight here, you need a lot of flex to resist the rotation, or you can funnel the rotation. All right, we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. When I drop the mace head to counteract the mace dropping straight down, I'm going to take my left hand and aggressively turn inside. I also use my hip as a pivot point to keep the mace connected, which also takes away a lot of the drop. I hold the mace, I let go, and I turn inside. Now you can see that I quickly reached over and I grabbed with my opposite hand, thumb facing the head of the mace. God, I love these training maces so much. You see, am I in landmark 1? I am, and this is called a cross grip because my arms are crossed. Let's go back. All right, so if I drop the head of the mace and do some internal rotation, I can catch the head of my mace. I'm going to do so again, but this time instead of catching across an X grip, I'm going to catch in front like I'm shaking your hand. Hi, how you doing? Yes, welcome. Yes. I'm going to drop the mace and catch in front. Now you'll notice that I'm also in landmark 1, but this time we're rotated. We're on the side. Very cool. I'm going to go back to cross grip. I'm going to feed the mace back. Yes, the left arm is getting quite the workout today, propping the mace up. So here we go. We drop the mace, and we catch the mace. And from there, all I'm going to do is slide and glide back into position. And if you were able to do this, well, in one swing, what you have is a horizontal 360. Most of the time, when we think about swinging a mace in a 360, we think about the traditional 360 move. However, the 360 can be done in many different forms. It can be done on the side, it can be done intersecting in the side, and it can also be done horizontally. So there we go. Boom. All right, so I'm using counter rotation of my body to lock myself in place. I'm using purposeful rotation in the shoulders, the elbows, the wrist. Guys, make sure you catch thumb facing the head of the mace. If you catch thumb facing the other side, you end up a little pinched, which is actually going to lead into another lesson, but not today. Okay, and so the mace is moving horizontally in a circle. I love it. Now, typically when you learn a mace move, another philosophy that we have is to apply steps. And what you'll soon realize is some moves and some steps do not go together very well. And let's go ahead and use the uppercut. No, not the uppercut. Yeah, let's use the uppercut as an idea. The uppercut, which goes from rotated 1 into crossbody into rotated 3, moves in line with your forward and back steps. And so if I was combining steps with this move, it makes sense to use a step that goes in alignment. Very good. The bow and arrow, which shifts from left side to right side, although it can go into a lunge, a back and forth facing lunge, it also goes in line with your steps for your lateral lunges. And so your lateral moves and your lateral steps tend to work out together very well. But every now and then you get a move that doesn't work out. Let's look at the timing of a ballistic curl, the same one that you've been doing your whole life, which, if you think about it, the mace runs laterally, and so my lateral steps seem to be a good option. However, my forward-facing lunges can, but not always, can present a problem. Seems to be a leg in my way. And so not all moves work out perfectly with all steps. Side note, If you let the mace pass the crossbody top, then you can step without hitting your leg. Voila. But let me ask you this. If you have a move that spins horizontally, what steps do we have that spin horizontally? I'll give you some time to think and answer that question. But as you're thinking about that question, I want you to also visualize a funnel. Yeah, like if you've ever poured water into a funnel, or engine oil, or coolant, or whatever, okay? You've seen a funnel work. How does the funnel start? Well, you pour whatever you want into the funnel, and it has this big spiraling loop up top. But eventually what happens is the rotation changes almost into a very small circle. And so I'm sure you guys have all seen a funnel, okay? A funnel is a great illustration of segmented rotation to get the same mass to rotate at two different speeds, both at bottom and top. And so hopefully you guys have been thinking about what steps spin in the same horizontal circle as we were just demonstrating. And guys, that answer is the dragon step, the dragon squat. If I do my dragon squat and rotate the other way, I now have a spiral. How cool. And so let's add our landmark 1, 360, to our dragon squat, or our dragon step, and we're going to do this with rotation. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to step to the side I'm selected. I'm not going to step towards the weighted side. I'm going to step towards the tail. From there, I'm going to unspiral my legs, and it's really that simple. I step, I pivot, and I rotate. Now you'll notice that I'm stepping about shoulder width apart, and what that does is allow me to get back into my foundational standing structure. At the same time I do this, I'm going to hold the mace in the same position that we were instructed to at the beginning of class, just like so. And so here is the dynamic movement all together. And hopefully what you'll notice is the rotation starts in one place, stops in another, and delivers energy to the next spot. Boom, 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 boom. Segmented rotation is a really good example of funneling rotation. I am taking the energy from the floor in this tight spiral and winding it up and letting my mace do its thing. If you think about it, I've actually expanded the width of the 360. It's no longer a 360. If you notice, the head of the mace is facing the left side of my room. So in order for it to do a 360, it would have to stop at the same spot, but check it out, it doesn't. It goes past that spot, out of the 360, and takes another step. Boom, 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 boom. The last thing to stop moving is my mace. Everything else locks into place, and voila, here you go. The horizontal 360 with counter rotation, purposeful rotation, and anti-rotation. Now, taking that rotation and funneling it into the ground. Lil, what do we do next? Well, whatever you guys want, okay? You have this dynamic switch. It takes a long time. You can do whatever you want. Remember, this is your mace training. You can do whatever you want. Even sound effects. Sound effects. Highly recommended. Steel Mace Flow sound effects are key. And so to answer the question to rotate or not to rotate, there's instances where countering rotation makes the art form look better. It makes you safer. There's also the idea of funneling rotation and how that can make you safer. And so whether you rotate or not rotate, it's up to you. It's up to your end goal. But there are the 4 rotations that we live and die by. Maybe I shouldn't say live and die by. Yeah, those are the 4 rotations we live and die by in Steel Mace Flow. Counter rotation, the body. Anti-rotation, the mace. Purposeful rotation, choosing when and where to rotate and what not to rotate. And then funneling rotation, which begs the motion in the ocean to keep moving. Funneling rotation. Guys, this has been a very fun episode. Appreciate you guys so much showing up for class. And that's it. That's it. Class is over, guys. Get out of here. Go swim some mace. Let's see. So this month I'm going to continue doing Steel Mace Flow education. Next month I'm booked. I'm going to have a student coming into town. Very excited about getting to connect with my old student Dave. We're going to be doing two-week training session, maybe 1 week. Well, I don't know yet. Actually, I just know that I marked off. I think it's 2 weeks. Yeah, so Dave's going to come down. We're going to do some training. I'm very excited for that. We do have another project we will be launching this year. I don't know if you guys mess with kettlebells. I mess with kettlebells. And along the way, I've created quite a few moves. And so I'm going to put those moves to market. If you guys are interested in training some kettlebells, I look forward to helping you out with that journey. Also, last and not least, I'm still looking for a few more students. 2 or 3 more students to take on their one-on-one adventure in Steel Mace Flow education. Of course, I'm training you guys via the interwebs. So no matter where you are, if you'd like to connect, I'd be happy to help you out and to be your coach. Guys, it has been an awesome morning. It's a little rainy day here in Austin. I'm going to enjoy myself. I hope you guys enjoyed today's stuff. And that's it. How many times have I said that's it? Listen, you guys got 100 360s for every time I said that's it. Okay? Jordan, thank you so much for showing up. Ja, thank you so much for showing up. We'll talk to you guys later. Stay savage.